Go ahead and do it again. Okay, stop.
Brian's Mobile One.
Now you can go places. How do you feel about that?
I feel a little less upset that my car is...
A little less upset. That's why it sounds so funny. The crank's turning, but the belt is dragging it.
Yeah.
Or the AC. You know your AC compressor was having a problem, right?
Right.
Let's try pulling the belt off. Maybe it locked up and it's stalling it, but it doesn't break the belt. It's just peeling out. The crank's turning, but the belt won't. Cool, that's good news. Engine internals are probably fine. Yeah, this compressor's the problem. I think the AC compressor just locked up, and that's why it won't start. Let's look at the belt and see. No, belt's fine. Crank it over and see what it does. Start.
Good news.
That's what you want to see. Just locked up solid. Well, let's look into it. Let's see what we got for options. Step 1, take off a negative battery cable to protect your circuits. Alright, so we've evacuated the system. Now we're crack this thing free. These are both 15 or 5/8. We're looking at this thing, and you can see that there's a little gap here, but a big gap down there. What happened is the compressor clutch actually failed, and so it was engaging the compressor all the time, even though it was low on refrigerant. Kind of overrided it. It just double failed. Everything's toast on it. So I always break things by hand, and that way your little 12-volt gutless wonder. Future Brian here. I now own a fuel version of this tool, and I love it. If you can afford it, it will meet and exceed your expectations if you're used to pneumatics. To remove this compressor, all you got to do is pull out the 2 bolts, the pivot one that we just did and this one in the front, and then there's one on the back side here. The easiest way to get to that back bolt is to remove the intake boot. I don't want the material on this to fail. We'll have to get you a new boot at the wrecking yard too. Let's spray a little at the top, and then when I burp it a little bit, it'll run down everywhere underneath. There we go. Once the silicone's in, everything just gives up. When you're a professional mechanic, you don't always get to order your own parts. You learn to be really careful with stuff so that you don't have to rely on somebody else to destroy your ability to flag hours and make a living. So this is one of the tricks that I learned I'm passing on to you. There we go. So you got dowels on the back of this side that really bind it in there. So you want to pry up from this side. Use an indexing pry bar like this. It's always the right angle eventually. I'm in love with the IBIS, link below. That's the dowel right here. So again, you can see the gap right here. It's just real tight right there. F you. We're out of here. Garages are outdoor rules, right? You're not technically in the house. That's bad, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll go to the bench and Q-tip it. Cheap parts for cheap cars. We had to get a junkyard compressor to be able to meet the budget for this, and the junkyard guy got a bunch of junk in the ports. So what we're doing is we're just cleaning it out and all the brown crud that's in there.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty cooped up. Still gonna be better than what you had.
It's that special Mopar color.
You like saying Mopar.
I do. It's my favorite word. It's the word of the day.
You and Pietro would get along great. There's a little gap there, so we just put this in because that's threaded. Make sure to get a few threads into it. See how it's bottomed out? That's easy. That way when we put it in, it'll go really smooth. If you put all your bolts in first before torquing any of them down, you'll find it goes in. Then you gotta torque this one a ways because you gotta pull that dowel back tight. So it feels like it's tight forever. It's like, is this ever gonna tighten up? And it is. So when I look at a belt riding diagram, I look at where it's pinched in. You see it's pinched in on this pulley and this pulley. So that's what I focus on is these two. The rest, I just have it run to the outside. AC compressors have oil in them just like your engine does. That oil is dissolved in the refrigerant and circulates through the system. Every time there's a leak, some of that leaks out. You have to put it back in the suck side. You hear it sucking. That's another thing that you can do if you're not sure which is a high side or low side. This one I wasn't sure, but you see it's a high side fitting, so if this is going to be a high pressure line, that would be the discharge line. As a general rule, the high side is going to be skinny and the low side is going to be fat. Another thing you want to do with the oil is oil your O-rings. You can take your line and pour it down the line too. We're just adding a couple of ounces is all. When we add some oil, we add it into the low side port first, so that way when it first kicks on, when we charge from the low side and push refrigerant or suck refrigerant in, it'll lubricate the compressor right off the bat. So if it's been sitting in a junkyard or if it's new, it'll be good to go. And then we can put some in the high side line or wherever from there. Bunny ears. These gaskets have bunny ears, and if you don't line them up and you smash them when you put your bolt through, you're going to find that this won't sit flat and you're going to have leaks. So always check that before putting the line on. Oh, this must be interesting. There's a close-up. It's like Sesame Street with the attention span of a kid. You know, every 30 seconds, some different view. This thing sucks. All the moisture out of the whole AC system. So we look at the low side gauge because it goes negative. You see it says in HG vac. HG is the periodic table initials for mercury. That's what they measure vacuum in, is how many inches of mercury it can pull up a glass tube. Every car is going to have something that tells you about the air conditioning. And it's got AC in the middle, but I just look for R134A or R12 or whatever. They'll give it to you in metric system and also in garbage units. So you can use either one. We like using this because it's base 10. It's easy to figure out. Purge the yellow line, open this, and then up here at the gauges, I just crack this open until it hisses. As you back that off, it'll push all the air out of it and just close it. You spill just a teeny bit. A lot of them will have a Schrader valve or something where you can just, you know, hit that. But if you don't, you can unscrew this. It works just the same. So we weigh this, get our starting weight on our scale. This scale is actually from Harbor Freight, and it turns off automatically. So you have to restart twice while you're running the thing. It's annoying. This scale is a postal scale, and it was a lot less expensive, but it's made to do a package real quick. So our beginning weight is 12 kilograms, 0.790, and we need to put in 0.624. So when it's at 12.166, then we need to stop by closing the low side valve. We just need to start the engine, get the AC pump running, and then we'll open up the low side. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll pull the high side off, and that way I won't risk having any high pressure stuff blowing, and cap it for cleanliness. So let's put an exhaust hose on this and we'll fire it up. Now is a great time to put everything back on that you need to, and make sure you're clear of all the tools that you've been using before you fire up the engine. Alright, let's try it. So once it gets up to pressure, this will kick on and it'll pump more of the refrigerant in. Mission accomplished. Now for the final touch. Job's done. So now when we start it, sounds a lot better and it starts right up. Amazing what adding a new AC compressor can do for the whole car. Now you can go places. How do you feel about that?
I feel a little less upset that my car is fixed.
A little less upset?
Yeah, I found out it wasn't the battery after replacing the battery.
Oh shoot. What happens if you throw money at a car instead of diagnosing?
You waste money, but at least I have a new battery. So
right on. That's good going into winter.
I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing and remind you to click the bell, or else Google will not notify you. Cheers, and feel free to share this video with anybody that you know that may have a problem with their air conditioning system, or if it's squealing like the one in the beginning of this video.
Bonus footage at the end.
got a second for a quick interview?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your rig?
We are JCR Off-Road. We are from Kalamazoo, Michigan. We have brought Snowhawk Mountain Rescue, our 2001 Jeep Cherokee, on tracks. And we're looking for snow, but I don't think I've seen any yet. So we got the boards, we got the fat bike, and there's no snow, so I'm not sure where it's at. But
The snow camo. This is a sweet, sweet build. I'm an avid skier myself. I run a Subaru WRX as my ski car.
man.
And my white 2014 Ram is called the Yeti. I saw you guys coming down and I could not resist.
Yeti doesn't talk, but you can try to interview him.
Awesome. Let's get by and talk to the Yeti for just a sec. Yeti, what's up, buddy? Dude, you got a sweet rig. He's waiting for the snow. I'm waiting for the snow. I know you are. But you guys are just really bringing it, representing the Utah crowd here. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.